was your friend will be a quaba about Attention TV. So, Attention TV inspire you more. The exclusive interview and then there was our CEO of Golden Consort TV and Advert Center, Mr. Solomon Tamaklu, and then the Ebetron Komo, auditor, and their budgets and no one some and Ebetron Komo. Near the entertainment kakra and boom. Midi ane akosia sparkles as that can see and come University Foundation said that or say as name I made the exclusive interview at the Ebronya Bay one time they watch it no person the my foundation there and then make for University Foundation and at the mobile no 05483029850 05483029885 as that is so and common that teas cosmetic and Christmas ever who says food so a bepomonase a natis cosmetic and boutique obenamo ewa block magape tarazo ablik magape tarazo the number is 024 263 1620 024 263 1620 the exclusive interview is in the Mitram Haba Ebasia. For me that papa pastor would now bread train mommy try me hosi mape ede eba ye me so say one subscribe ya no subscribe ama me say one share so na wa share and some e be bobo news so wa send can we ja our comment section ho ama ye be kind of fefe ede ama so na me di kan kan na be kan sa e wa Attention TV studio hate I CEO of Golden Consort and TV and Advert Center also say editor Nidi and Mr. Solomon Tamaklu or Mr. Nefas. Mr. Solomon, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I hope everything is fine.
By the grace of God. Okay. I'm swimming in grace.
Okay, so we thank God for everything. And just recently, the budget was released. What was your concern? Was anything about it that you didn't see it, or was anything about it that you were expecting?
The budget actually generated a lot of heat. Even before it was read, you see Ghanaians actively trying to draw the attention of government to some of the concerns of their communities. For instance, I know people who are trying to draw the attention of government to their roads and other infrastructure to the extent that they know that government will include that in the budget and they can actually work on it. So they started hitting. Also, other groups of people were also drawing attention to various sectors of the economy because it concerns them, it will affect them, and they want the government to do something about it. So actually, the budget generated a lot of concerns and people speaking to issues.
Was there something more in the budget than we Ghanaians only looking at two things in the budget, than the e-levy and the cessation of the toll booths? Was there anything that Ghanaians are not concentrating on and only concentrating on that too?
There are more than just the e-levy and then the toll cessation. We have issues of concern of government trying to help with the creation of jobs and then entrepreneurship development. They have names for them.
Yeah.
And I think it will be a very, very good project to undertake because I deal in entrepreneurship. I read a course at Legon under entrepreneurship, and my understanding of it and how I think it applies to our current day situation make me take so much interest in it. Thumbs up for government if this thing can be done. But how it will be done is another thing, though it's a good policy. Secondly, with the job creation, I will tell you that I am 110% for it because if you know of how the youth are now entangled with issues because they don't have job to do, to the extent that even those who are working, your take-home pay, you know, it doesn't take you far.
Yeah.
Let alone for someone to be in the house, not working. So I can tell you, youth are trying every possible means to make money or to stay afloat the boat of what? Life at all costs. and they are using every possible means. So it's a good thing to undertake job creation. It's a very good thing to encourage every individual to do something that can bring bread home or put bread on the table.
Okay, Mr. Zamaklo, I want to ask you a question. Is the president a partaker when the budget is being made?
This is the way the budget, just like all other those that come before Parliament, goes. In the first place, all sector ministers have to bring policies or ideas and projects that they think they would like to undertake in the coming year or in the budget year. And estimates are made, and that is submitted to the Ministry of Finance. And the same thing is taken to a cabinet meeting where they sit on it to deliberate until they come up with the final thing that the finance minister puts together, and it is finally read as a budget proposal. I repeat, a budget proposal in Parliament. It will be a budget proposal until Parliament now deliberates, brainstorm, and do some due diligence to see what is fit for Ghanaians, approve of it or do not approve of it. Then it becomes a budget. So, because the cabinet is under the leadership of the president, this budget must have at least passed under him, or he might have idea about it. Though he may not have had every detail, but he's supposed to know, and he knows it.
When you were speaking, you made of the proposal. The budget is supposed to go to the parliament, where to ask, propose that before they sit on it.
Yes.
But this year's budget, on the 2022 budget, with the toll booths, the cessation of the toll booths, it took place 12 midnight, 12 a.m. after just the budget was read. What about that?
It is not the norm. It is not the norm, and I'm still praying for the dust to settle concerning all that. I know two things happened after the budget was read. In the first place, after the budget was read, I understand the Minister for Roads gave a directive for all those working at the toll booth not to go, and then no toll should be taken. Meanwhile, everyone who knows how Parliament works, parliamentary procedure, when the budget proposal is brought before them, now they set a day to start deliberating, brainstorming, and debating it until they come out with the final verdict or the final approval or disapproval. So the budget has to be approved by Parliament for it to be a budget that is applicable. So those two things that happen, actually, I'm still trying to learn from it, because I know that after the directive of the Minister for Roads, I also heard the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Abambagbe, also giving a directive to the Minister for Roads, who is also a member of Parliament under him, that the writing was not done, it should be reversed. I'm waiting to see how the dust will settle about that.
Okay, so let's move on to the two things Ghanaians are talking about. Let's start with the cessation of the toll booth. Was that not too fast, or they had a reason why, or the transport minister had a reason why he was like, no one should take toll booths, you just pass, you go your way?
You know, there are advantages and disadvantages to every step or action that you take.
Yes.
And in connection with this one, if you look at the operation of the toll booth, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
And it was said, it was approved by Parliament, and something that was done by law. For it to cease, Parliament has to also reverse that law. So that's the first part. Secondly, looking at it, assuming what they intended to achieve through the collection of the toll at the toll booths was not, going the way they expected, the best thing is to apply measures as to correct them. First thing to do is to audit what was going on over there. Secondly, you set effective monitoring system to monitor. And the third one was that, assuming that was not working well, now that we are talking about digitization and digitalization, we could have applied the same measure to the collection of the toll. What could have been done? Under the audit, I could tell that everyone is given a receipt book that they use. You know how many is given to a person per day, per week, per month. We could audit that.
Okay.
Secondly, assuming you suspect any foul play of people trying to loot through any means, you could set up measures to do it. One of the means is to engage again the digitalization. We get a CCTV camera for about a week. You monitor. We take pictures or videos from there. Then you go and study. You see, you could tell whether something wrong was going on there or not. That notwithstanding, the third thing I talk about, trying to use the electronic means of collecting the toll.
Yeah.
I can tell you for sure that it's been applied at the Legon campus. All the entry points, the one from Hacho area, okay, that's West Legon, and all other gates of Legon, we apply that. So every community member of Legon, lecturers and those who use cars, have it. So when you are coming, you don't need anyone to open anything for you. I mean, you go, you just show your card. It opens of its own as far as you subscribe to and you have paid up to date. You go. When you come back the same way. Looking at that small campus called University of Ghana Legon campus and the number of, even the source of income to support this course and how effective it is, how come we cannot apply it at our toll booths? How many toll booths do we have in Ghana? How much will it cost to do that? So I was thinking, the thinking into it wasn't that effective. But I know that seeing my parliamentarians and all the concerned citizens and then the civil society organizations who are speaking to the issue, I know the government will listen and then do something about it so that the collection of tax that we need so much for all the projects that we mentioned and then the intended purposes that we put through the budget could be achieved and achieved through meaningful means, acceptable means, the one that will not bring too much suffering to the people of Ghana. I know it will be done.
Okay. You made mention of the digitalization way and in which you set cameras to check on the people working. If I may ask, who are the people qualified to work at a toll booth?
With the qualification, you see, when you come to work, if you look at the labor law, every Ghanaian, has equal opportunity to work apart from maybe skills expected and then other things that may be expected, depending on the type of work. But I think with the toll booth, everyone can work there. I know graduates from the SHS, even JHS, they can also work there. As far as they are of age, of sound mind, they can work there. They can work there.
Okay. Let's move to the e-levy on the mobile money, the Momo thing that it's also a concern for Ghanaians. Talking about the 1.75% on the mobile you send and you receive it. How is that also?
That is quite an interesting policy they wanted to introduce to collect tax. I can apply or talk about two things about it. From personal observation, I see ambiguity.
Okay.
And secondly, absurdity. Let me start from ambiguity. It is not too clear what they intend to do. Secondly, it is not too clear how this thing is going to work. Thirdly, the procedures that are involved, even looking at how they intend to collect it, are not too clear. Despite some explanations being given by the Deputy Finance Minister and others, I am still not too clear. And it equally applies to all Ghanaians who actually understand how such systems work. A public sector worker who receives your salary, the salary is sent straight into your bank account. This could affect it. From the bank account, maybe I'm too busy to go to the bank to withdraw. Then I am now trying to take that money through maybe one who says with the UMB bank by trying to draw it into my UMB Speed account. See the amount of money to be taken, and it will affect it. Then from there, I now want to take care of my grandmother who is in the village. Sending about 200, 250 to my grandmother. How much is that? But they will have to apply that to it. Now, come to think of it, person to person transfer that they were talking about.
Yeah.
From my end, how is the system going to detect that it was my salary I withdrawn? The explanation they gave, it was my salary that I withdrew, and that's from the salary that I'm actually sending the money to another person. It's not. It's still not too clear.
It's not clear.
It's not clear.